Hey everyone, it's Maya. It is Thursday at 1 o'clock, so I'm going to get started. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about songs and music listening for self-care. This is a huge topic. This is something that I write a lot about, that I present a lot about, and that comes up a lot in my work with clients. So this is just going to be a little piece of it, and I hope that if you have questions about anything I have said or not said, leave me a comment. And this is a topic that I can bring back on another Thursday because there's just so much here. It's really, really rich. So let's just start with thinking about music listening in general. So a lot of times people will put on headphones, plug in earbuds as a way to kind of tune out, as a way to zone out. And sometimes we need that. But I've written a lot about music listening as a way to tune in. So as a form of mindfulness. So if mindfulness or meditation is something that you struggle with, if silence is too much, you can use listening to a piece of music as a way to really just tune into your body, your breath, your mind, and notice what's going on. Doesn't mean you have to change anything, but just means that you're in the present moment as opposed to getting lost in your head or just checking out of your body. So just using a piece of music as a way to notice how your body, your breath are responding, and to just notice the music. How often do we just notice music? How often are we not pulled out of our experience of music by an alert on our phones, by the subway coming, by just anything? So music is really around us a lot more than we're sometimes aware of. Passing someone on the street who's blaring music out of a speaker, which just happened to me recently, or music in stores or in elevators or in offices. Music is everywhere, and sometimes we don't even notice it. It becomes background noise. So there is this idea that I'm really, really very connected to about using music as a way to tune in. And sometimes that means having a little bit of silence, having some pauses. Otherwise, how can we even notice when there is music? I'm going to post an article that I wrote, I believe it was last year, about using music as a way to practice mindfulness, and it literally walks you through the steps about how to really just mindfully use this as a practice for yourself. It can be something you do daily, it can be something you do weekly. It's just a way to stay connected to yourself. So when you're using music as a way to engage in self-care, you might also start with just checking in and noticing what you need. So sometimes we can say, okay, I'm just going to listen to music and just put something, anything on. And sometimes it just doesn't jive, it just doesn't match with what's going on internally. So it's worth it to take a moment and pause. And to even ask yourself the question. It can be out loud, it can be in your head. What do I need right now? What do I notice in my body? And what do I need? And just being open to whatever might come. So just take a moment and check in right now with yourself. Notice your body. Notice your breath. Just notice where you are, what you're doing. If you were going to put on a song or a piece of music at this moment, if you were going to choose something to listen to, what do you need right now? And your answer might come in the form of a certain song, might come in the form of a genre, it might be a color, you might have a word, maybe the word, I need to feel grounded, I need to feel peaceful, I need to feel energized. Any of these, just being open to whatever information you receive from your body and from your inner wisdom. It doesn't have to be in words, it could be in sensations, it could be in a color. I asked this question when I led a workshop for therapists a couple weekends ago, and a lot of them had information that came to them in the form of colors or in the form of textures, something soft, something relaxing, something blue. And so then taking whatever information that you've gotten, and if you don't get any information, that's okay. This is a new way of sitting with this question, and so it might be unfamiliar to you. But taking whatever information you've gotten and seeing if you can match it to a piece of music. So if you need something relaxing, what piece of music, what song might match that? If you need something energizing, maybe you come up with a certain song. Maybe there's just a song that popped into your mind. Maybe a genre. Maybe it's something you didn't expect. Maybe you think you need to feel grounded, but a rap song comes up. Fine. There's nothing that says that certain kinds of music can't be grounding or can't be relaxing, even when they're not in the vein of what we usually consider to be relaxing. So I've often had clients come in and say, I'm feeling really anxious or overwhelmed, and I put on something to cheer myself up or something soothing. And for whatever reason, that's just not connecting. You know, they'll say, but it was bothering me, or it wasn't helping me relax. And that gets really frustrating because that's why they put on the music in the first place. And so sometimes you might have to match where you are currently in order to move to a different place. I'll give an example from my own life. I believe this happened. This was last summer, and I was driving, and I had just gotten off a phone call, and it left me feeling a little anxious in my chest. And to be honest, I don't remember what the phone call was about right now, but I remembered that it just left me feeling anxious and tight and just, ugh. And so I had the thought of like, okay, I'd like to move this out. I'd like to feel calmer, because who doesn't feel like that? And so I turned on the radio and I went to QXR, the classical station here in New York City. I love classical music. I often find classical music really soothing and relaxing. And for whatever reason, that just wasn't working. It was like the music just floated past my awareness and it wasn't connecting, and I was still feeling anxious. So I started, switching stations, and I landed on Cheap Thrills by Sia. Now, not necessarily one of my go-tos at that time, but again, I just let my intuition guide me, and it fit at that moment. And I remember turning up the volume, I remember turning up the bass. If you don't know this song, it's got a pretty distinctive bass line. It's got some neat kind of Middle Eastern-y feeling drum beats in there. And I just remember all of a sudden I could breathe. All of a sudden the breath just scooped right down to that sweet spot. When you can take a deep breath and it just goes all the way down. And that music, that song in particular, helped me move through my anxiety. So it matched the intensity of the feeling. And of course I wasn't consciously thinking this at the moment, but I was open to what I needed. And that's just the biggest part of the process. So looking back, the intensity of that song, the driving bass, the beat, maybe even the words, although I don't think I was really focused on the words, matched where I was that moment and were so soothing for my anxiety. So a lot of times when I'm working with clients who are anxious or overwhelmed, rather than immediately soothe it, we might just lean into it. Like, what's a song that, if they're feeling able and up to it, what's a song that might match that feeling? And maybe there's something like with the Sia song for me. Or maybe we can find a middle ground, right? If they're not wanting to stay in a sad place, but yet happy music is not really working, we'll find a middle ground. What's a song that's kind of like in between? And so just kind of learning how to use songs and how to use music to support where we are at the moment and to move ourselves through different feeling states and to just explore what it means to be with these different feelings. I think that this is just a really important form of self-care. This is how we can really be present with ourselves and to lean into what we need. So rather than a blanket statement of when I feel X, I put on Y sort of music, whatever X and Y might be for you, but just leaning into what do I need at this moment? And that is a really important question for any kind of self-care. Not what do I think I should do or I should listen to, but what do I need? So just like the self-care answer is not always I need to go to the gym and push myself through a really hard workout, when you might really need to just go home and sit and drink a cup of tea. When the self-care question is applied to, when the what do I need question rather is applied to music, rather than I should be listening to happy music to cheer myself up, to move myself through this, maybe you need actually to listen to something sad. Maybe you need to let yourself feel that feeling. So I'm going to pause there for today because I feel like that was a lot. Hopefully there was some nuggets of useful information to take away. I'm going to post the article that I mentioned in the comments. And this is a topic that I love talking about, and I want to come back to it. So if you have questions about songs, about music listening, for self-care, for emotional expression, post them in the comments, and I would love to revisit this in a future Facebook Live. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.